Hello and welcome to today's video, and today I'm reviewing a fountain pen from Platinum, and this is how the pen comes packaged. This is the Platinum Meteor or Shooting Star, depending on where you look. This is a pen primarily, I think, designed and marketed on the Chinese market, which coming from Platinum, which is a Japanese brand. It has a lot in common with a couple of other Platinum entry-level, shall we say, fountain pens. And I'm going to show a couple of those. I'm going to talk about parts and features of this pen and then talk about some pros and cons. Okay, so it comes in this tube, which is kind of fun, and it shows that this pen is probably aimed at a younger market, and that goes with the price point as well, and the fact that there are several designs of this pen and design elements on this particular pen that go along with that. So the pen is a complete plastic body and it is very lightweight. This is one of the blue versions. I think this was Lake Blue or something like that. You can see Platinum written there on the cap. It's a faceted pen. I think it's octagonal, and it's so that facet feature goes all the way down the pen as it sort of tapers towards the end there, the tapering allowing it to post, really. There are little holes in the top, on the flat top of the pen, but no holes in the bottom here, which means that if you decide, you could probably eyedropper this pen. The pen comes with a cartridge, and that is what I have in here. I've refilled it with Platinum carbon black because that's what I use, and it's a very familiar section that we're used to seeing. I mean, I should say it is a snap cap, and it's fairly secure. You can hear that little noise. There is a cap liner in here, and it's that typical Platinum sort of inner cap to allow or to stop the pen from drying out. It's a nib we're familiar with. This one just happens to have a little shooting star design on it, and this is the fine. You can see a little F there for fine. The section is very familiar, as I said. Here is a Platinum Preppy, just a standard Platinum Preppy. This is their disposable fountain pen, which I don't think is actually disposable. I would refill these. You can see the shape of the section, and the nib are basically identical. There's a couple of little, like the smoky finish and things like that, but really apart from that and the design on the nib, but really they're a very, very similar pen. And therefore the Prefonte, or however you would say that, is the same. And also, just, up modeling, the Plaisir has the same nib and section on it. So when you buy any of these pens, what you are getting is you're getting the same, basically the same nib, different nib sizes, of course. I've got a 0.2, a 0.5, a 0.3, and then the fine there, which is about a 0.5-ish, I think. And so you have a fairly sort of decent range there of pens that use this sort of nib system. Slightly different to the Procyon, which is a little step up, I think. So as I said, the pen posts, and because it is very lightweight plastic, it posts both securely, but also doesn't change the balance of the pen. It does make quite a long pen, but also this pen has a fairly long section, and it's not a particularly slim section, which is one of the things I've always liked about the Preppy and the Procyon, is the fact that the grip section is actually quite comfortable. And the weight of this pen is good in the hand because of that. It's light, but which was great for smaller hands, but the size of the pen is actually okay, and particularly, as I said, if this was aimed at a younger market, particularly, this size pen is going to be, quite sufficient, really. The Meteor, or the Shooting Star, depending on where you go, is available from a range of different sellers on like a secondary style market. As I said, it is primarily designed for, I think, from what I've read, the Chinese market, and for a younger market. I was able to pick this up for around 13 Australian dollars, and it's available on places like eBay and things like that for around the $10 mark. And there, of course, would be retailers more, worldwide who would be able to find this. So the best way to find this pen is to just Google search the Platinum Meteor, if this is a pen you are interested in, or this would be a great pen for a young fountain pen starter. As I said, it uses the cartridge converter system. You can get a converter for it. You could eyedropper it. It comes with a cartridge ready to go. I refill those cartridges because I think the Platinum cartridges are actually pretty good, and it's easier to fill them with a blunt syringe, which is an easy and effective and affordable way of doing things. So let's just talk a couple of specs for the pen before we do a size comparison. So it's 136 millimeters when it is capped. It is 123 when it is uncapped, so making it, a fairly usable sort of size. And posted, it comes in at 163. So not too long, but certainly not a short pen. The grip section is around that 10 millimeter mark, which is super, super usable. When I said the pen was light, I wasn't kidding. This pen weighs 12 grams. 8 of that is in the body and 4 of that is in the cap. So while you are putting a third of the pen's weight on the end of the pen, it is just also lightweight that you just don't feel the balance shifting. The only issue you might have is this little ridge here. It's not super sharp, but because it is faceted, there are little lumps and bumps. You may feel that on the webbing sort of your hand in there when you're holding it. So you may choose to write with this posted or unposted. I tend to do both, I suppose, but lean towards unposted because that is my preference in general. So let's do a size comparison now for the Platinum Meteor. And the pens I chose, I just want to put a Platinum Preppy here because it is probably a pen we are familiar with. And then also the stock standard Lamy Safari. So you can see it's a little shorter than the Safari and slightly shorter than the Preppy, but it's a little... it's a slightly different design to the Preppy, and the Preppy has a little extra stuff sort of going on the top of the cap there. When it is uncapped, you see it's still a little shorter than the Safari, but about the same as the Preppy. They're more or less kind of like the same kind of pen. The Meteor just a tiny bit more expensive. Posted, you see it actually comes out at a pretty decent length pen. It's not too much shorter than the Safari, but a little bit longer now than the Preppy. Let's do a writing sample now. I have the Clairefontaine 90 GSM paper here, and this is the cap was off for a while. Let's get that started. Okay, the Platinum Meteor. A bit of a rough start there. This is Platinum Carbon Black ink, and I should say this is the fine, and it is a steel nib. It is quite fine, and it's dry. I'm not even going to have to do really a fast writing sample here. It keeps up, it just sort of thins out. Like the amount of ink it puts down, the line just sort of thins out. It's just a bit dry. And that probably is not going to be a problem for the market that this pen is designed for. It's a stiff nib, I should say. Very, very stiff. Reverse writing is possible, but not great. I kind of feel like this pen would work really well for students writing on paper that is less than ideal for fountain pens. This is Clairefontaine paper. This is going to handle anything, more or less. But like it writes dry enough that you're not going to get a lot of bleed from a lot of, on a lot of paper, which may be a big advantage. The nib is smooth. Like it's not scratchy. There's feedback on it, but it's smooth. If you know the Platinum Preppy Procyon Clairefontaine nibs, you know that this will write well. It just writes a little bit dry, and particularly for my taste. So what are the pros and cons of this pen? Well, like I did say the nib was dry, but that can also be a big pro. I think the fact that this plastic is not a super high quality plastic, it wouldn't take a lot to sort of break this. It's light, and I think that would be a bit of a turn off for some people. The other issue is the availability. It's not a super available pen. You can't just walk into any pen shop and buy it like you can like a Preppy or something like that. So you do have to sort of search around just a little bit more to find a pen like this. But the pros are great. Like the price at 13 Australian, roughly 10 US, you're getting a decent pen from a decent brand. The nib is smooth. It's a cute nib, like it's got that little star on it, so it will appeal to, kids and and youthful adults, I should say. I think there's a good range of colors available. Like in this basic version, there's I think 6 or 7 different colors, and they have different versions for, you know, Chinese New Year, things like that. So there's lots of, you know, availability like that. And I really think it's a really great starter pen for kids. I think its size, its weight, the cost, the fact that it uses those converters, you can eyedropper it. It sort of does everything it should do for a pen. It's at this sort of price point, and for the market it's aimed at. And also coming, you know, packaged in that cute little like test tubey kind of thing is kind of fun as well. It's not just your average sort of blister pack. So yeah, this was the Platinum Meteor or Shooting Star, depending on which version you get. Hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at @the_offstage_me, or you can contact me on any of my videos here, or drop me an email, which is listed down below. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there is a way you would like to support the channel by sponsoring a review or providing an item for review, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.